Good morning, guys. Today we're doing 5.4. We're going to take something from every lesson we've done so far and put it together for this lesson. So we're going to talk about parallel and perpendicular separately, but we're going to be converting from standard form to slope-intercept form. We're going to be counting slope. We're going to be using point slope form. That's 5.2. So we're taking something from every lesson so far and putting it together with this. So let's highlight our learning targets first. That's a bunch of mumbo jumbo for we're going to be writing equations of perpendicular and parallel lines. Let's discover parallel and perpendicular. So this works best if you have two different colored pens or pencils or something. We're going to graph these lines. So my y-intercept is 4. I'm looking at this one. And then I'm going to count my slope. That's down 2 over 1. And then my second, so let's make that. We're going to try and be a little bit extra accurate for this. And then I'm going to switch over to blue, and I've got my second line is an intercept of positive 1, and then up 1 over 2, up 1 over 2. Okay, let's pause on the other graph and let's go a little bit down. In this first problem, these lines make a perfect 90-degree angle in here. So when we do that, we call that perpendicular. Okay, and when that happens, the slopes are different, right? My first slope was -2, my next slope was 1 over 2. But they're not just different, there's something special about them as well. They are, we call opposite reciprocals. We're going to put an arrow here and we're going to talk about that definition. That is on your vocabulary page, so should you not have the definition here, you have it somewhere, but, I know what happens. Stuff gets lost. So, opposite reciprocal. We started with -2 and we ended with 1 over 2. So let's look at our live example we've got going on. Opposite reciprocal means I flip my sign. So it was negative, it became positive. And then I'm also going to flip my fraction. So 2 over 1, right, that's a secret over 1, became 1 over 2. So opposite reciprocal means flip the sign and flip the fraction. Just opposite means flipping the sign. Just reciprocal means flipping the fraction, but we put them together and we flip everything. Okay, that's how we do perpendicular. We will do an example problem in a second. Let's go back to our graphs and let's graph our other two lines. So that was perpendicular. You can assume this is going to be parallel. Let's do it. -2 is my y-intercept for this line. And from here, I'm going to go up 1 over 2, up 1 over 2, da da da. And then flip my color, and we're going to do +3. It's my new y-intercept. Up 1 over 2. So notice my slopes are the same. Right? They were both 1 over 2. That's interesting. Da, da, da. So when they are perpendicular, they cross at a perfect 90-degree angle. When they are parallel, they never cross at all. These lines are parallel. And the slopes are the same. They were both 1/2. So when I have parallel lines, then we're not going to change the slope at all. It stays the same. But when we have a perpendicular line, we're going to flip it around. So let's take a look at how this runs. We're going to go through how to do it, and then we're going to write the steps on how to do it at the bottom. Okay, so listen to my words now. We're going to write it down in a second. Okay, find the slope of a line perpendicular, so we're going to start here, to the line whose equation is blah blah blah, all that. Fully simplify your answer. So I just copied and pasted that from Delta Math. This is going to be the second section of your homework. The thing about standard form, that's what this is in now, is that none of those numbers mean anything to me. I mean, they're important, they're there, but like the 3 isn't the slope, the 12 is not the y-intercept. I need to do some math to find the slope because that's my job. I need to find the slope. So, first thing I need to do is make this so that I can see the slope. And I can do that by converting into y equals mx plus b. So we're going to rewrite this over here because I want to have all my space. Okay, when we are solving for y, that is, I move the x term over and I divide the y term. So I can't combine the 3 and the 108 because one has an x and one doesn't. And I'm going to divide the y term because they're being multiplied. So I get y equals, and then I simplify. So we're going to do this one and then this one. Negative 108 divided by negative 12 is positive 9, plus negative 3 over negative 12 is 1/4 x. That is this line converted into y equals mx plus b. I did that because my job is to find the slope and I needed the slope. So I take a look at this and I say, well, my slope was 1/4. Okay. Like the whole point in doing all that math was so that I could pick the slope out of the equation. So that's what we're doing. We put it right here. And then this is perpendicular. So perpendicular means opposite reciprocal. So instead of 1/4, positive 1/4, I want negative 4/1. And that's my answer. I'm done. So we had to do that math to find the slope, and then I had to take my slope and flip it because it was perpendicular. Let's do another one. Find the slope of the line, so slope and parallel this time. So I'm not going to flip the slope this time. It's not going to become negative if it was positive or whatever. We're just going to find the slope. That's my job. So steps are the same. I need to solve for y because I need to find my slope in this equation. Divide my x term, my y term, sorry. Y equals 18 divided by negative 3 is negative 6. Negative 5 divided by negative 3 is positive 5/3 x. My slope is always the one with my x. It's parallel, so I'm not going to change it this time. My slope is just 5/3. And then I put it in Delta Math and it's great. Okay. So that is the second section of your homework, just finding the slope. Let's flip the page. The next section of your homework, third section, it doesn't want just the slope this time. It wants the equation. And this particular one wants parallel. So we're going to start the same way. I still need to find my new slope because I need to find the parallel slope. So I'm going to take my line, subtract the x term like I have been. Negative 6y equals 12 minus x divided by negative 6. That's a secret one right there. So y equals 12 divided by negative 6 is negative 2. Negative 1 divided by negative 6 is positive 1/6x. So my slope is going to be that positive 1/6. And then I was asked for the equation of the line that passes through this point with that slope. So this line does not go through this point. That is what we're saying. But I want to find the parallel line to this one. So think of this like how we had before. We had our original line, the negative 2x1. And then I found I graphed next the perpendicular one. You are given the original line. You have to find the parallel. So through this point with this slope. Well, I know a formula that only needs a point and a slope. That is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. This was what we did in 5.2. And then I just plug in my stuff. So my y value is -2. My slope was 1/6. I did not have to change it because this was a parallel line. X minus 6. And that's what I put into delta math. A perpendicular line. So, still, an equation. This is the third section of your homework. We're given the original line. We have to find the perpendicular one through this point. So lots of little tidbits of information in the question here. We still need to find the slope so that we can flip it this time. So let's subtract our x term. I'm going to rewrite it over here. -5y equals 35 minus 2x. Divide by -5 on both sides. Y equals -7 plus, because that's two negatives, make a positive, 2/5 x. Okay. I did that math so that I could find my slope. My slope is positive 2/5, but this time it's perpendicular, so I need to take that 2/5 and I need to flip it around, opposite reciprocal. So positive 2/5 becomes -5/2 with this point, and then I plug it into my thing. Y minus my y value is -3 equals my new slope, because I had to flip it this time, x minus my x value. This is what goes into delta math. One more time. Okay, equation passes through this point and it's perpendicular to this original line. So we're going to solve for y. 18 minus 3x divided by -2. Subtract 3x from both sides. 18 minus 3x equals -2y, and then I divide by -2 on both sides. Sorry, I'm trying to save myself room for other stuff on the other side. Y equals -9 plus 3/2 x. What I found, here's a tidbit for you, is that this sign often gets lost. I keep seeing students get it wrong because they're missing a negative, and the negative is usually right there. So please just be careful. Watch your signs. I'm going to pluck out my slope. This was perpendicular, so I need to take 3/2, and I need to convert it into -2/3. So flip the sign, flip the fraction, and then put it in point slope form. Lots of negatives this time, which is totally fine. Delta math accepts this answer. That's great. And that's my answer, right? My y value, my x value, my slope. And that's how it's done. So I'm going to pause the video and write all the steps. You copy them down, please. Okay. Let's do it. Okay, pause the video. Write that down. If you start going through these and you're like, I don't like this way, Delta Math does show a different way. Feel free to look at the example problems and try it that way. I've found I like this way better, so this is the way I teach it, but you can like it whichever way you want. So I'm happy to help with either. Email me if you have any questions. Thank you so much. Have a good day.